remember, everybody have within them that ability to compete. Now, why is it that some people avoid instead of compete? Why is it that some people avoid instead of compete? Because remember, two of them are built in. Again, for the most part, it goes back to environment. If you had avoid as your first choice, I want you to consider for a moment the household that you grew up in. Consider that environment because recall now that by the time you reach the workplace, there are certain skills that you already build. Most of your skills you already build before you reach into the workplace. So if in your home environment you did not feel the need to compete. There was not a lot of competition. If you had parents who instilled in you certain values that said, hey, no, you can't, don't push in the line, no, you don't need to do that. You know, there's a place for you, your turn will come. What's for you is for you, whatever they instill in you, you're going to find that it comes out. And so you feel less need to compete. And what you do is patiently wait for your turn because, you know, good thing comes to those who wait and all the other things that we learn and believe. And so instead of, you know, fighting, we end up flight instead of fight. And so that behavior over time shapes who you become. And you're somebody who is the peacemaker. They teach you, especially if you are going to church, you know, turn the other cheek, as opposed to somebody, other parents will say, no, if you knock you, knock on back. Knock on back. Or can tell me if you don't want knock on, so I could knock on for you. Right? Think about all of that that goes into somebody who ends up either competing or avoiding. And so in the workplace now, you are somebody who take those same skills you learn at home and then you brought them into the workplace. And so pretty much you avoided. You were peace loving parents. They taught you order, you wait your turn, you're in line, you don't rush, dash to the table and say, excuse me, your food going somewhere, your food not have foot. Take your time and come. You get your food. There was order. You knew that you didn't have to compete, so you're less in that survival mode of competition, and you have deflected to the avoid. So I still, right, it's the other end of the spectrum. People who are always avoiding, what happens when you get in a position where you need to compete? Like there is a need for you to compete, but you're in a position where you're constantly avoiding. This is what you taught yourself, this is your upbringing, and now you need to compete. You're not competing. So you know, apply. No, I don't apply. I'm not going to apply. You know, I don't like them problems, and you apply, you have problems, you know, apply. In our household, my mother was the type of person who taught us to avoid problems. She didn't like a lot of company, a lot of problem. Do you know that thing rubbed off on us to the extent that when I had to get on the bus, I was commuting from Belize City to from Belmopan to Belize City daily. And the bus, the express in the morning was a nightmare. You had to rush to get on that bus. And little me, I would stand in the line like everybody, you know, like a lot of people behind the barrier and wait now. I tried to get early so that I could, you know, get a good spot in the line and assure myself a seat in the bus. But then I would look around and there were people who would be going outside of the barrier and other people who were not even in the line when the bus pull up just dash. And so even though you were number three in the line, you end up, and I won't lie to you, there came a time when I said, no, I have to reach the work. I can't late for work. I get up early, I come out here, I need to reach a work. And catch me the pushing at the line now. I push. And I'm not lie to you, if you feel good, right? It felt good, the pushing, because it's like I had to compete. In that instance, I couldn't change the system and I couldn't be late for work. So I had to join the competition and I had to push my way through the crowd. But those are all things that we have to consider when we look at the styles of conflict. So we looked at compete, we looked at avoid, and we recognize that they have a space. So my question to you is it ever okay to avoid? Is it ever okay to avoid? So what does avoid say? Right? So avoid says that I lose, you lose. In avoid, I lose, you lose. Avoid says things like, it's not that big a deal. I'll rather just forget it. It's not worth the trouble. What difference could I make anyway? I lose, you lose. Now, why do we both lose in avoid? In avoid, we both lose, especially in a conflict, maybe in the workplace, because we never get the chance to figure out what's really going on. Remember, avoid has no communication. So I see you come and I leave. I avoid you totally. We can't, nobody wins in avoid. Nobody wins. We never get to the bottom of why. If somebody was to ask you, I notice you avoid Leon when he comes in. What's happening with you and Leon? Say, I have no idea. And they ask Leon, so what happens? Don't know. Don't you want to know? Don't you want to know what's going on? Don't you want to know why the person perceives you or treats you in a certain way? You deserve to know. And so we also find that a lot of times people who avoid are passive. They are not assertive communicators, they are passive. And it's best if I just go my way